All right. Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, May the 16th. Just trying to make sure everything's okay with the camera and the microphone. This camera is still going to be foggy. Let me know how you guys are hearing me. Again, today is May the 16th. My name is Juan Cloyd. Welcome to the Thin Blue Line here. My co-host Ernest Perry, as you can see, he's not here, but he is running a little late. We actually got an argument on the phone about who's the who's the latest. So, but he should be here any minute. But today we have several topics to talk about. We got some good stuff to talk about. Some things. A lot of things happened last week. Friday was not a good day for the city. Friday was not a good day for the city. We had a lot of things happen, and I think that we need to have that discussion about what we're going to do about the violence in our city. And the discussion is between two people, three people, 15 people, however. But I think myself and Ernest, we talk enough. We like to get what you guys think. It is imperative that having trouble with the internet. Okay, we're back up. We should have some guests call uh, in a few minutes. But so I want to start off, first of all, with something that is very near and dear to me and that I've been doing for quite some time. And I fancy myself somewhat of a, a reasonably knowledgeable person about. And that is guns, firearms training, and whatnot. I would venture to say that most of you all out there have a gun. And I would venture to say that most of you all have not had firearms training. And for the life of me, I don't understand why, because I can tell you right now that shooting is a perishable skill. If you had training 10 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe even 2 or 3 years ago, you still need to up your training. Now, one of the things that I offer is firearms training, myself and my partner, but we offer it sparingly, and so it's a hobby to us. It's not a money making venture, and so look, here's the person I was just talking about. I was talking about you. Yeah, put those headphones on. Bring that mic up to you, brother. All the way up to you. All the way up to you. There you go. And so we had a class yesterday, had a really good student, Miss Hughes. Miss Hughes was an uncanny shooter. It's not often that I get a shooter that, in particular, a female, but even males do this quite often, that when she shoots, when she shot, she did not move the gun. She didn't flinch. She didn't do anything. The barrel stayed straight throughout the whole progression. And I was so shocked to see that from a fairly new shooter, that I've never seen that before. I can honestly say that. And she did such a good job that just got me so excited. Had me, I started shooting. I wanted to shoot some just to get some in. So, but that was, for my understanding, she was a new shooter, but she had practiced before. She had trained some before, but she did it on her own. And I said that to say this: we've got so much going on around the city, around the country. We've got active shooter events going around almost every day now, where you can be in a store somewhere or you can be in a school somewhere and someone comes in there and starts shooting. And I personally carry my gun not just for me, but to protect other people. And I can tell you that I've been shooting for quite some time, and I still have not mastered shooting. I'm not the best shooter in the world. Um, I think that most of your training should involve a certain level of stress to get your heart rate up, because what's going to happen when you get into a shooting uh, uh, situation. Your heart rate's going to just pop up just like that. And so going to the range, standing there shooting, even in indoor ranges where you're just standing there and there's other people next to you and you're just shooting at a paper target, punching holes in paper is how what we call it. That's all fine and good, but we call that target shooting. And it's a difference between target shooting and combat shooting. When you get in a when you have a shooting incident, that is a combat situation, just like fisticuffs when you're fighting with your fist. And so, most of us that have been in fights, if you've been in fights, a fight or more than one fight, you know your heart goes up and you're just fighting. So, imagine how fast your pulse rate is going to climb in a shooting event, right? And so, when we train, we train from the combative style first. We start out that way first, and we pretty much end that way. We can just teach you how to shoot, poke holes in paper, to shoot 50 rounds, and that's
Right.
nothing, right? But we train to be able to what happened?
Yeah, blanked out for a second, but you back.
Okay, respond to a critical incident. And we take pride in our training. We give you everything we have. I'm not selling the training, by the way. We do train for a fee, but I'm not selling our training. What I'm telling you is when you train, you need to have stress. When you train, you need to have situations that you put yourselves in to make you have to think. When you train, you should never train with your legs standing straight up. Your legs should never be locked, because that's not going to happen when you have a critical incident. You shouldn't stand there and just punch holes in paper, because unfortunately, um, something's going to happen to somebody that's listening to this one day, and you're going to have to deliver some level of force with your weapon. Um, you got anything?
No, I think you covered everything. The most important thing, if you do have a gun and hadn't had any training, like you said, we're not selling training, but we do advise you to get some type of training. Mississippi got the easy gun laws, the most lucrative gun laws that there is, and training is not a mandate. I don't understand that for nothing. You got a vehicle, and we know that cars. We tend to believe, and the way we train, that cars are more dangerous than guns. And those people that's driving those cars on the interstate, you don't know if they drunk, you don't know if they mad with their wife or their husband, or you don't know if they just lost their job, and they have a dangerous, almost 2 ton vehicle, and it could be turned to a weapon at any time. So, but I said that to say this: you are mandated and regulated to get a driving license. So I do believe that if you do have a handgun, you need to be trained, well versed in the uh, the handling of that particular handgun. So that's the only thing I have to add. Please, ma'am, please, sir, find a training somewhere. Get some type of training to become familiar with your handgun, because no cliche is a matter of life and death, maybe in an instance. So again, please, ma'am, please, sir, find some training somewhere and get
Right.
trained, get familiar with your gun.
Well, and why are we bringing this up today? Right. Well, one reason is twofold. Friday, we had a really bad day Friday. It started I guess about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and for some reason Ellis and Highway 80,
Lynch Street.
Lynch Street were the key areas. This is for those of you that's not from Jackson or know about Jackson. This is like, excuse me, like about a couple of block radius, 2 block radius, give or take, depending on this what you call a block, a city block or a country block, right? And so at 1 o'clock, this is probably one of the busiest intersections on a Friday afternoon. So if you're not from here, just think of somewhere that's really busy, and you have in the middle of that intersection of Highway 80 and Ellis, a individual just starts shooting somebody, right? And unfortunately, that individual succumbed to his injuries, I believe, a day or two later. And so, and this was one beautiful day. It was probably what, 80 degrees, sun shining, and this is what happens. So from there, probably 50 yards away, maybe 70, 100. That night, later on that night, around 10 o'clock, we had a young man decide that he was going to start shooting people with an AR-15 and robbing them. And so he goes just kind of on a rampage in this 2 block radius, goes down to Lynch Street, and I believe he killed that gentleman on Lynch Street. That's what we saw, the blue lights.
Oh, okay.
So this is where we come in with firsthand experience, firsthand knowledge, then firsthand experience. So, and we're going to talk about mental illness, and this is under the guise of mental illness, because nobody sane takes an AR-15 and just starts randomly shooting people, robbing people, killing people, carjacking people, right? Nobody does that. Nobody. So Friday, we were to meet our group, the Citizens of Jackson. We call it COJ for short. This would have been our second time going to pass out cards, push cards that say, guns down, stop killing, right? We go to at-risk areas in the city that have people that are more at risk of gun violence than you or I. And we speak with them, we converse with them, we pray with them, we laugh with them, we joke with them, and a lot of them ask for the cards. One lady, one lady from Canton, oh man, what was her name? She said we need to come to Canton, right? And took a bunch of cards and said she wanted a T-shirt because we have T-shirts. We team with the Better Men Society of Jackson, Robert Davis and some of his guys. They're really, really, really good.
Yes.
They're really, really,
Yes,
really
I was
good.
impressed.
Yes, I said something last week that these gentlemen had been locked up or in the penitentiary. All of them have not been locked up. All of them had not been locked up, and Robert corrected me on that because he has not been locked up. But Robert, you're supposed to be on the show last week too. You could have corrected me. So we usually meet at the Arby's on Highway 80 at Metro Center at 9. I was running a bit late because I was at work late. And just bear with me while I tell you this. I work late, and so this is about a mile-ish, if that much, from our starting point, which is Highway 80 in Ellis, right? While this other crap had been going on earlier that day. And so we meet at 9 o'clock. I got there about 9:15, 9:20. We get there. I get there. I'm tired. They're standing in the parking lot. And as time starts going by, I'm like, hey, let's go in and pray and let's get out of here, right? So then somebody called me and said, hey, just out of the blue, they asked me a question. They said, where are you? And I said, well, I can tell you who it was. It's DeKeither Stamps. And he calls me. And by the way, if DeKeither would have been campaigning, or if anybody is campaigning, we won't have you come with us because this is not a campaign event. And so he asked me a question. It was related to violence and guns. I said, hey, a legal question. I said, well, we're about to pass out these cards. Why don't you come out there here with us and pass out these cards so you won't have to worry about this violence as much, right? One day, someday. He says, well, where y'all at? We're at Arby's. I'll be right there. You know, it was just that simple. It wouldn't have thought, he didn't think about it. Right. So we wait 10, 15 minutes. Here comes DeKeither with his wife. His wife has on sandals. For those of you that I keep telling to come out there with us or asking to come out there, his wife was not prepared for this. His wife had on open-toed sandals. And I thought she was going to sit in the car, right? Wrong. Wrong. I was very wrong. And so we were waiting for somebody else, and time goes by. 10 o'clock finally gets there. And 10 o'clock is supposedly when this mass shooting starts. but we're at Arby's, right? And so finally, 10:15 goes by because we're waiting for somebody else. And we're in 10:20, and we decide we need to go on and go. Well, before we get ready to leave, we see blue lights, just blue lights, blue lights, blue lights from everywhere. I know that from where we're standing, from where we're standing, we can see Highway 220. And if you come in, southwest on 220, and you're a police officer and you got your blue lights on, you're driving real fast, and it's like car after car after car, I know something's really wrong because those officers are coming in come from one sector and they're coming to another sector.
Right.
And they don't usually do that unless they need help. So I know something's really wrong. So we leave, we go down to the store and at 80 and Ellis, and we see probably 8, 9 cop cars on Lynch Street in route. We're en route to 80 and Ellis. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know what they're doing. But it turns out they were there a couple hours later because we got done very late. They were tending to the gentleman who had gotten killed. And so we went down to the store. We passed out the cards. We talked. We did what we usually do. And usually, for some reason or another, the parking lot clears out when we come.
Yeah.
And Robert Davis says, "Dark can't survive where there's light." And so, that's what he said. So that usually happens. And so we left and went to Lynch Highway 80, where we could see all the cop cars sitting there. But again, we didn't know why they were there, and we started passing out some more cars. So, people, we have a big, big, big problem with mental illness. Huge problem. I don't know if you've noticed in your city or in your town or in your state, not just Jackson, young people walking, talking to themselves, screaming out loud. And it's getting more and more and more prevalent, and it's really concerning to me. So what do you think? What do you think we need to do about that?
You talk about the mental
Yes,
illness?
mentally ill, because it's obvious that the man that did the shooting was mentally ill.
Right.
Either whether he just snapped, which is still a mental illness, right, or he had a previous mental illness, whether it was drug induced, whether it was whatever it was. No sane person does what that man did.
Your question is what you think we should do, I tend to think I'm still a police for some reason. I don't know why. I'm thinking what the police should do, or what us as citizens should do about that. On the police standpoint, I'll just start there. They need to educate themselves more about mental illness. And understand it's not a crime; it's a sickness. It's an illness. Exactly, it's an illness. And that's where the community policing come in at. Be familiar with your area and the people that's in your area. Familiarize yourself with these mentally ill individuals. They are walking constantly every day. They are in some of these halfway homes or these personal care homes. Become familiar with them. They would tend to listen if you know them. The way you come at them in a certain way, they would tend to listen to you. If they know you, you can't approach them and treat them like criminals, because that's going to trigger that type of illness. I think on that end. Now, as for citizen, I don't know. That's a tough question. What we should do. I'm kind of torn because that's the feel my wife, and the illness and treat them like patients. So when you say what do we do about it, what exactly do you mean when you say that?
I mean, what do we do about so we all have rights, right? We all have rights, and I have
Okay.
a right not to be bothered by somebody. You have a right not to be bothered. They have a right themselves, but they don't have a right to infringe on your right. You understand? And so I'm a man, you're a man, but a lot of these it's a lot quite a bit more male individuals out here walking the streets that are mentally ill that approach females, and the females have a right. They have a right, you know. And so we're in the middle of a conversation, and Robert just came. Hey, Robert.
I'm sorry about that, man. Did I come at a bad
Yeah.
time?
You know what? I'm gonna have to.
How y'all brothers doing?
What's going on? I'm gonna hook up my. Can you hear me? Can you hear me,
Yeah, I can hear you.
Robert?
I can hear you.
Okay, I got you. We're talking about mental illness and people walking up and down the street. By the way, introduce yourself, sir.
I am Robert Davis. I'm the founder of the Better Men Society. Again, I apologize, man, if I came in at the wrong time. I was just,
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine because I think somebody else probably going to come in with you
okay,
a little later. So no, you're fine. We actually just so what we were talking about was what happened Friday night, right?
right.
But we're talking about it from the mental illness aspect of it because
Zero, one,
because what in the
seven,
world?
two,
Because
zero, nine, seven,
hold on.
nine.
Because no sane person would have done what that gentleman did, or that man did. I won't say gentleman right now, where he shot four people and killed one person, right?
Wow.
And so, but we're talking about it from the mental illness aspect of. It's very apparent he was mentally ill. Number one. Number
Right.
two, it's a lot of mentally ill people in that area. A lot of mentally ill people in that area. And then number three, how we were impacted by that because we were right there.
Right. Right.
We were right there. And I think that if we would not have, number one, prayed, number two, waited for a couple of people,
Right.
there's no telling what would have happened on our end. I can
Right.
tell you that if they would have came to that store, he probably would have got a rude awakening when he got to the store,
Right. Right.
and not from us, right? I think some more folks would have been well equipped to deal with him. But so yeah, just from that aspect, and I asked Ernest what he thought about what if he had any plans or any thoughts about what we should do about the mentally ill people in our community, especially the violent or the aggressive mentally ill people. Should that just be a governmental problem, or should that be a community problem?
Well, I definitely think it's a community problem. I mean, it starts like all of these issues, it starts at the house. It starts at the
Mm-hmm.
house. And we should all go back to the rule that if you see something, say something. And when I mention that, I mean, if I have a brother in the house, I mean, that is what having a neighborhood consists of.
Right.
The families in the neighborhood should know the families. I mean, we've
Right.
gotten past that point for some odd reason. When we were coming up, we knew each other. You know, every family in our neighborhood knew each other, and we knew the families, we knew the mothers, we knew the aunts, we knew the uncles, we knew the cousins, and so forth and so on. And I mean, this is not a new issue. I mean, families have always had individuals that were
I can't hear.
um,
I know.
special, and but we knew who those individual was. We knew who those individuals were, and
Mm-hmm.
we knew to um, conduct ourselves a certain kind of way around them, and to, when to move and when to, I mean, it's about the family informing the community about that individual, for one, about the family being aware, and the family letting the community know about that individual, about the community caring about that individual. Because one thing about it, just because that individual is mentally challenged doesn't mean that the community shouldn't care about that individual. Are you still there? So with that being said, I think that um we should go back to knowing the individuals in our community, for one, knowing our family. Everything is about self these days, and as long as we're okay, then we're not worried about anyone else in the house, on the job, on the block, and so forth and so on. But that's not the answer to the issue that we're having. We need to, if we see something and we see an individual that is at the point of implosion or explosion, we should say something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we see these issues. If somebody loses their family, if a guy loses his mom, he's on edge. If a guy loses his,
Yeah.
somebody close to him, he's on edge. It takes somebody reaching out to that individual. We should monitor each other if we care about each other. I mean, it's somebody close to that individual that is able to reach him. And not blaming anyone, but somebody should have stepped up. Somebody should have seen it coming. So, that's my comment. If you see something, say something. Don't be don't be um lackadaisical about individuals that show signs of wear and tear mentally.
Don't you think that is so? Do you think the city is apathetic or just not really concerned about what's going on now? A lot of people in the city just aren't concerned about. Everybody's in their own silo, and one of the things that me and Ernest talk about is we um, we can't really, just looking at the election was just, the numbers were just so bad,
Right.
and there's other things as well, but the things that are happening around us that keep happening that are really horrible, and there's no response from the public, and even sometimes I just am apathetic and just kind of blah about things. I know what we're doing going out on Fridays is a not just a boost for the people that we come in contact with, but it's a boost for me, right? And I know,
And
again, I'm going to say this 1,000 times. We're passing out cards, and passing out cards that say "Guns down, stop killing" is not going to make everybody put their guns down. But what it
no,
is a start, right?
right,
It's a start,
right.
and it might make one person put their gun down, because we could have
And that's
had,
all. That's all
right,
it
we could
goes.
have had 6 shootings Friday night, right?
Right.
We just never know. It's something that you can't quantify until you start seeing really the numbers go down. But again, we've talked about, you all did a was Stop the Violence peace rally, right? Saturday,
Right.
was it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And but there's so many other things that have to be done. And so we can't just put the load on 10 or 12 or 20 people when we have a city of 163 or 168,000 people. And
But,
I
but
personally, I go ahead, Rob.
I was gonna say, it's a blessing to meet you too, Mr. Ernest. I was gonna say that you and I, Mr. Cloyd, we have shared information about my theory about light and darkness not being able to be in the same spot. Uh, 2 months ago, I sat down with some community activists, and I, everybody was in a scramble about what to do about the violence, what to do about the violence. And I simply said that my theory is if we, I mean, my theory is our streets are flooded with negativity. You know, the airwaves, you know, the television, the radio waves, the streets themselves are flooded with negativity. But if we, the way we counteract that is flooding the streets with positivity. If we put out enough positive, then a negative has to recede. You know, just like any room, if you go into any room and turn on the light, the shadows have to go to the corners. And it's the same way in our everyday lives, in our society, you know. And I began that beginning that 2 month period, 2 months ago, I think it was like 2.5 months ago, I began to, um, I think we were up to about 37 murders at the time, you know, 37, like 45 murders at the time when we began this campaign. And we began hitting the streets
Mm-hmm.
every day, feeding the
Mm-hmm.
homeless. I mean, you know, driving in the, you know, water drives in the city, going out with the cars like you and I do on every Friday evening. We began to, you know, pray with the elderly. I mean, just uh, post all over the internet. I mean, go door to door, talking to these young cats. I mean, just making our presence felt. Everything positive we could possibly get our hands on to do, we did positively for the last 2.5 months. And these young guys were talking about us so much and what we were doing so much that they didn't even have time to talk about the stuff that they were arguing about, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I say that because when I compared the numbers, I showed you the numbers. I showed you the dates that we went out and did positive in comparison to the dates where the murders happened. And during the days we went out, only one murder happened in the total, um, time that we were in the total time of the dates that we went out and did something positive. Only one murder happened. That was March 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, all credit due to God, you know, to God be the glory for my point being proven that if we get out and we spread positivity and we do just something, anything that we cannot, I mean, we may not be able to stop the violence, but we can reduce it. We can reduce it. So, you know, anybody that wants to see those numbers, I got those numbers. I mean, man, we've been out campaigning, doing the most. I mean, man, I mean, literally, I wore my guys out literally on this campaign, and we claim some of those days for the kingdom of heaven, man. You know, and in the end, it's about God getting the glory one more time. You guys still there?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me,
Yes,
Rob?
sir. I can hear you.
This is Ernest. How you doing, man?
Blessed to meet you,
Thanks
man.
for coming on tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Listen, before we got started, and we had like a little, I would call it we said it a devotion or a little testimony there, and you were telling me about, and you mentioned about your childhood and some of
Yes,
the
sir.
things you did, some of the things
Yes,
you
sir.
did, some of the first time that you made the news, some of the incidents. We're not gonna get into the incidents right now,
Yes, sir.
and
Yes, sir.
but I had a question that night, and it struck me, and the fact that you saying what you saying now,
Uh
the
huh.
mentality that you had,
Uh huh.
and some of the things that you did could have anybody change your mind at that time as a youngster, like we're trying to do now? Because you
Of
knew, I
course.
mean,
Of course.
you had your mindset,
Yes, sir.
you was gun ho or what have you. You
Right.
think anybody could have came and changed your mind?
Somebody definitely could have changed my mind. Like I told you, the thing about me, I always surrounded myself with elders. And I, like every young man, wanted to be part of something strong. That's why I joined the gang in the beginning. You know, every
What's
young man
going in and
wants
out?
to be part of something strong. a piece of us as males. You know, we want to be part of something strong. That's why we do football teams. You know, that's why we do basketball teams. That's why we do bowling teams or whatever we will come a part of is because we want to be part of a unit, something strong. And um, you know, even though every man could not have told me what to do back then or made a suggestion to me, there were some. There were some that could have and that did. You know, every young man is going to make themselves available to somebody. You know, I mean, like I projected fear onto 80%, I'm gonna say 90% of individuals that came in contact with me, but there was still a 10% of males that I went to and I asked questions. You know, those were the guys that could have that did tell me yay and nay on, you know,
Right.
questions that I. So yes, in the
Okay.
Better Men Society, that's what we try to do. We try to be. I try to be what I needed when I was that age to young men.
Okay.
That's what my
Right.
brothers in the Better Men Society.
Okay. Right. Right.
So,
Right.
hey, Robert, we have Jacob on the line with us now. Can you hear us, Jacob?
Yeah, I can hear y'all. What's going on?
It's going on okay. Listen, Jacob. Jacob, I interviewed Jacob about 3 weeks ago. Him and his friend. His friend was 18. Is it 18 or 19? He just got shot in the stomach by someone he didn't know who shot him. But
Right.
Jacob, we're talking about what happened Friday with the guy with the AR-15 that started shooting folks, and also we're talking about how that coincides with mental illness and how often we see mentally ill people in the Highway 80 area, in the Lynch Street area, and obviously that man that did that shooting was mentally ill. You know, you can't. No sane person is going to just go randomly shoot innocent people and kill them. So you can feel free to chime in whenever you get ready and
I
talk
think the only reason
about.
he probably was hurt. If he didn't have a mental illness, he probably was on some type of drug. You know? These drugs having these people snap out like that too.
We can't hardly hear you, bro.
I said these
Yeah,
drugs
we
have
can't
a
hardly
big.
hear you.
I said the drugs having a big effect on these people like that too, though.
Right, right.
Right.
A lot of people have mental illness problems, but if you have a mental illness problem and then you take a certain type of drug that enhance that, that's the type of thing that it leads to. Not all the
Right.
time with shooting, but they tend to cause harm to themselves. So a
Right.
lot of cool stuff you'll see when you
I'm gonna probably have to start having people come in the studio
He buffering.
because yeah, it's hard to get this Wi-Fi and these signals up. But
I
a lot of
understand.
people have drug induced psychosis as well, right? They'll be
Right.
fine
You were
and
saying that.
then they keep using drugs and then those drugs will make them mentally ill. So
Right.
we have all that. We're dealing with all that. We don't know who's who and what's what, but we know that they're here in this city. And if you're not from this city, I'm sure you have them in your city, but I can tell you it is quite a bit in our city, coupled with everything else that we have going on, which is we're being overwhelmed at this point now. We're just being overwhelmed.
But I think that it's also a space that individuals are choosing to allow themselves to go into. You know, like that's a cool state. These
yeah,
days, it's cool to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's
Hmm.
cool to be, it's cool to snap and it's cool to kind of blink out, like they call it, uh, when,
it's a reputation that's wanted. It's
right,
a want.
right, right. So, we need to, one more time, like I was telling y'all brothers, like we don't control the narrative anymore on what a man is. We need to reach and grab a hold to what that narrative is now. Like these days, whoever got the guns and whoever
Wait a
shoots
minute.
the hardest, that's the man.
Exactly.
Whoever can strike fear in the most people, that's the man.
Exactly.
You know, And we need to gain control of that narrative. And like I feel like a lot of people, they go into that space or say they're in that space, they're not even in that space. So that gives like our society less empathy for people who are actually in that space. Some individuals who commit crimes and they get their lawyer to just say that they weren't able to stand. You know what I'm saying? Like they were kind of mentally ill, and they weren't really mentally ill. They made a conscious decision to do whatever they did.
Get
And
out a slick, get out free pass.
right. And when it comes to our society, like that happens so much till we don't even feel sorry for people who really mentally ill. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my classmate Richard Green, he wrote this. Listen to this, and you can all comment on this, please. When it comes to child development, it's been said that the most crucial milestones in a kid's life occur by the age of 7. In fact, the great Greek philosopher Aristotle once said, "Give me a child until he is 7, and I will show you the man." Children remain heavily in theta and delta until they are 7 years old. Only then do children begin to think remotely like an adult with more alpha and beta processing brain waves. Little kids obtain behavioral patterns by observation, not coaching. So what does that say about what we're doing now? What are we giving the kids now? What are we giving the kids now? Observation. They're observing.
I think
I don't know
spoke on that
because
I think I spoke on that on your last show when I was on. I said they do what they see, not what they told. You can
Speak up a little bit more.
you can preach a good story to them and tell them, oh, this right, this wrong. But they see what they see. All kids don't see what certain kids see. So them type of kids ain't gonna understand, and they gonna move a better way. Kids that don't understand that all they see is this type of activity. That's what they gonna fall toward, because they feel like they ain't. Even if they genuinely know it ain't right. You know what I'm saying? They see they mama, they see their dad, they see their cousin, they see their uncle, they doing it. Why wouldn't I do it? If I see it's provide a productive life and a negative life. But you know what I'm saying? Like they feel like the always righteous way is far fetched. You gotta think about it. It's far fetched. They best friends dying. They at 17, 18. They know how hard these little guys it is for them to make 25. Right. It's hard for these little guys to make 25. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's hard for them. You know what I'm saying? So they feel like that's out of reach. I'm gonna be real.
But that's not nothing new. I was telling Dion, Jake, that like that ain't nothing new. When I was young, like they said, I wasn't gonna make 18. Growing up in the hood where I was telling them a few stories last night. About how I was getting down when I was like 11 and 12,
Yeah.
and basically, if I can make it, anybody can make it.
That's how I said.
With that being said, it takes a certain element to make that come true, though. It wasn't just by chance that I made it. Certain people poured into my life. I had people reaching out to me, and I had people concerned about my well-being. You know what I'm saying? So we have to kind of put our best foot forward when it comes to these young men. We gotta try to reach them.
Get active. I said that last time. I gotta get active. Them hearing you talk, it's been a lot of people that then it said and said they was gonna do this and do that and help them or whatever. They lose hope when there's so many people that say they gonna do something and don't do it. You know what I mean? Then they look at the person that's really trying to step for them or do something for them. Like they want to see something before they give they all. That's how I'm like that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I'm
right.
like that. I'm
right.
gonna say that. I'm like that. You know what I'm saying? I can't listen to a blind man. I can't a pair of lips to tell me anything. I can't listen to anything. You feel what I'm saying? How can I listen to somebody that's doing worse than me?
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like I don't it's just certain stuff, man. But it ain't hard to get to these not the little guys. Like you said, you started what you said, 11, 12. Like we was talking last time. He was like, he was surprised how young my little cousin was saying, like, the little guys around us, like 13, like that's normal.
Right.
It's normal, like it's normal, like it's real normal. It ain't normal, but it's normal, in the black private areas, it's normal. That's it's just like that, you know what I mean? But Instead
Did
of
y'all hear what
criticizing,
he
a lot of
said?
people
Did y'all hear what he said?
a lot
Like,
of people criticize when they go play. Oh, look at that child, whatever. That he like that or whatever. Woo, woo. Instead of saying, okay, let me see what I can do to help this person.
exactly,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Right.
Did y'all hear what he said about him not being able to, like the young people not being able to listen to anybody? Like
Mm-hmm.
they can't listen to somebody that's doing better than them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like somebody that don't look like they know what they talking about.
Exactly.
Somebody that they
Right.
can identify with. They're not gonna listen to that individual. It's
Right.
individuals that can strike that chord. Like I want to, like he been where I am, and I want to be
Exactly.
where he going. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That
Right.
individual
He
is
know
something that I listen to.
a person will adapt to a person more better when they don't understand that person has been through something
Right,
similar to what they have. You
right.
know what I mean?
And
And
and the
another thing he said,
overcame it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say another thing he said was uh another thing that struck me when he was talking. He was basically talking about what I was saying about controlling the narrative. If a young person don't believe what you're saying, you could talk 2 days, but if they don't
They ain't
believe,
gonna hear you.
if you can't prove what you're saying, if you tell them you're gonna do something, that's what he said. That struck me.
Seeing is believing.
Yeah, if you tell them you're gonna do something, then do it. That's some grown man stuff. Men,
Right.
all we have in this world.
It's your word. Your word is your bond.
Right, right, right. You know, and as men, we have to control that narrative. Like I was telling y'all yesterday, like that's what a man do. A man speak and a man mean what he say, and he stand on it. And that's what we have to start doing with these young men. We have to start telling them, all right, this is, like I've been there, this is the way to go, and like prove it to them that we understand and help them navigate.
Cause honestly, man, they done made it what it's cool to go to jail. It's cool to
Right,
die. They done made
right,
it where it's cool to die. These guys made it cool to go to jail. Like it ain't nothing, man. Raymond, I'm gonna say this. I've been in Raymond a couple times.
right,
Raymond is the worst. I don't know how prison is. I ain't been to prison.
man.
Raymond is the worst jail. I feel like if you can survive in Raymond, it's a lot of people that act like they like it. They
Jake,
not ready. You not ready for Raymond.
Jake, listen, bro. They called me, they have called me into the jails when they had bangings down in Raymond. They
It get
called me.
real. It get serious. It's a
Yeah,
lot of people that die that people don't even be knowing. That
I swear,
like
bro. I
it's
swear.
so much death in Raymond. Like
I
and
swear.
like you was
Nigga,
going there with
listen.
a misdemeanor, man, and get
Look, bro,
hurt.
I walked into B1, and I'm talking about, man, it's toilet paper. I mean, like, I remember when Raymond was clean. And, even though it
The
was,
living conditions not
oh,
that's
man, it's
terrible.
horrible, man. Listen, when I say I walked into the jail and I had other guys with me, because, we breaking up the banging. You know what I'm saying? Them guys kicked off a banging in there, and they call us in to talk to the guys. So when I get in there, man, when I say, man, the spirit of despair, that's all I felt was despair and hopelessness, bro. You
You
understand
feel
what
it.
I'm saying?
You can feel it. You can
Oh,
feel
man,
it.
you can slice it with a butter knife, man.
And
Like,
do you
So who's
understand?
responsible
Do you
for that?
understand?
Who's
I'm
responsible
sorry.
for that? Who's responsible
this,
for that?
the responsibility is on all of us. The responsibility is on all of us, because we can
But
start at like I said, we can start at the home, and then we can go all the way up to the
Y'all might not
city.
believe it be real life hurt grown men like kids. They got hurt souls like a child. You
I
know,
know, I know,
they might be
I know,
grown.
I
They got
know,
hurt souls like a child. They not at peace with themselves.
I
You
know,
know what I'm
bro.
saying?
I
So
know,
they hurt people.
I know, little
yeah,
bro. I know, I
Hurt
know.
people.
and
You
so
know what
And
I'm
I'm
saying?
Hurt
telling
people
you,
hurt
hurt
people.
people hurt people.
Yeah.
hurt people, just like that. And man, I remember going into that jail, man, and I remember calling them brothers down, and those brothers, man, like I say, it was toilet paper everywhere. It was water on the floor. It was no TV in there. I mean, like as much as could be destroyed inside those walls, it was done. It was over. It was destroyed. I mean, and I mean, dirty clothes everywhere on the floor, man. I mean, man, like,
Them guys go days without eating. If you ain't got canteen, you hit.
man, listen, all I could say, I went in to say stop the violence, but in the end, all I could say was, man, God love y'all, man. And listen,
And be safe, protect yourself.
yeah.
That's how you get that. The new saying now, stay dangerous.
Listen, ain't that crazy, bro?
It
Because
went from stay safe to stay dangerous.
I pulled up on a
Stay
young
dangerous.
night when we went out to pass
Stay
them
dangerous.
cars out,
Stay
Jake.
dangerous.
And I tell the young guy, stay safe. And that's what he tell me.
Stay
Stay
dangerous. Ain't no staying safe. What safe what? The safe people getting killed. The people that's being safe getting killed. The one that's out the way. The one
Man,
that's
that's
just
crazy.
think about it. Just think about this. The people that's really out the way, normal civilians. I just posted about this too. Normal civilians that's not really part of nothing going on in the street.
Right,
They the ones dying. It be the
Right.
kids. They the ones getting the people that's out here causing all the noise. They good. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
They
but
just blow.
on the flip side of that, Mr. Floyd, I want to say just like you hear that saying, that young people saying, stay dangerous. Every time one of them see each other, they saying, stay dangerous. That's the cards. We combat that saying every time we pass a card out, and we got to keep doing it. You know, every time.
I promise I don't promote no violence, but
I know, but I'm saying,
I ride with something so big because I know these guys riding like that. Like,
oh yeah.
I was trying to explain to you, like, put the guns down. You got to tell these guys, like, it's more than. I'd rather, if my child was of age, if my sons was of age, I got 3 sons. If my sons was of age, and they was out here, like, moving around. See, I'm blessed, my kids not out. But boom, if they was out here, I would want them to have a gun. By me knowing what's really, I know what's really going on. So I really would want them to have some protection, that they should understand and have the knowledge of how to use a gun and protection of a gun. You know what I'm saying? It's not no toy, but that's where a lot of people mess up at. They don't have the knowledge of a gun. They don't know the safeties of a gun. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Boom.
But at the same time, like I got a 16-year-old son. He played football, you know, and he got a job. You know, I tell him and I remind him that violence is kind of allergic. The dudes that's doing the violence, they're not gonna come on their job. You understand what I'm saying? It's certain places that you can align yourself that don't.
Situation. I said that the other day too. Situation.
Yeah, don't put you in the line of fire with violence. You know what I'm saying? And not like we running from none, because I ain't teaching my son to be no coward.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
how to avoid it unless it's gonna cause bodily harm to you.
Right.
You ain't got no point to prove. See, that was my biggest thing. I feel like I always had a point to prove, so I used to flash off instinct.
Yeah, me too.
When you get older, you understand, like, it ain't about that. Cause get what, man? Listen, if I genuinely know the length I go, if somebody really just I know a lot of people ain't even like that, so I be let that go. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a pitch. I got kids now, so I ain't got time to be running around here to myself. I'm trying to make sure ain't nobody finna shoot in my car. These little guys don't care. They see you with your mama, they go hit at your mama. You feel
That's
me?
real. That's real. But you know, like the energy. It's about the energy that you putting out into the world too.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm saying all my life, people knew me as Killer B. That was my name.
You don't remember me?
No, I don't remember you, little bro.
You don't remember I pulled up on you in Battlefield?
In Battlefield?
I'll rap with you when we get off this year.
Okay. Yeah, but
I'll make sure y'all get each other number.
You already know how people remember me, bro, and that's what they remember me for. But I'm dropping a new energy out of there. You understand what I'm saying? Like Mr. Claude, did you see that right there? Like, I don't. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, but I don't even know if he remember me before I said my street name.
Now, I ain't remember you just because the way you coming out at me.
See what I'm saying?
You feel me? But I know you though. You know what I'm saying? I know you.
You see what I mean, Mr. Claude? Now, I'm putting a whole nother energy out there. I'm Mr. Robert Davis. Or the better me. I'm putting a whole nother energy out there. And
that's a grown man thing though.
Say it one more time.
I said that's called growing up being a grown man though. You
that's real.
You done did all this.
That's real.
Mr. Robert.
Yes, sir.
Robert.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this now, and I know you working on it hard, but this is something I'm struggling with, and maybe Jacob can help us.
Okay.
How is it? Can we interject God into this situation without beating them over the head with a Bible? Because they ain't trying to hear it. How can we? I know that that I know and you know that without God ain't none of this possible. But how
Right.
can we interject this with these kids? Do they believe in God? Do they believe in the devil? Can we tell them
Can I
resist the
please
devil?
stream on this? Let me stream on
And
this real
and
fast.
today, let's not ride with the devil. We not having no bull crap. We need to make another approach. We need to figure a way to interject God into this. That's the only way it's gonna help. I believe that. Now, what is your take on that?
Now, you want to go first, bro?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say now 80% of the young guys that's out here, they believe in God. 80% of them, they just don't know. Let me see how to put it. They don't know him on a personal level. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Cause
they
I
don't.
don't. I'm gonna scream that. I don't. I pray and I pray when I, you know what I'm saying. I pray
Right,
whatever, but I pray how I pray. Like I'm talking.
right,
To you. You smell what I'm saying? It ain't
right,
at the Bible word. You know what
right.
I'm saying?
Right.
But when I say that, I mean to you have to be on a certain level with Jesus Christ, bro, to allow him to protect you on a day-to-day basis. The average young man don't want to hear that Jesus Christ is my weapon and he my shield.
Right.
Everybody else got AKs.
Right. Right. So how can we interject that? If we trying to do?
Right. I mean, that is a
And
you know,
another thing.
I was just gonna say faith is a
Go ahead.
muscle.
I ain't trying to cut you. I'm part about it. But
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say faith is a muscle. For me, it had to be built. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't trust
Be worked.
all of my life. I didn't trust the fact that I had to learn that even if I had the K with me, or I had the Drake with me, or I had the 9 with me, it wasn't me saving my life. You know, like, you know, I had to pay attention to all the guys that were dying with guns, you know, in their hands to really realize that
the
it's a,
ones we looked up to either died or in jail.
yeah.
Hands down.
And you have to have a
Hands
special
down.
relationship with God, man, to trust him on that level. Everybody else got guns, but I'm gonna say I don't need no gun because Jesus Christ is gonna protect me, bro. You have to have a lot of faith to say that. And I ain't gonna even lie, bro. You know, I still ride with that thing. I still ride with my thing sometimes. You know, I don't go everywhere with it, but when I need it, I need it. You know, I'd rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Right.
So-
Totally understand.
Right. So somebody in this, if you riding in a car, just say for instance you got 4 or 5 deep riding in a car. Somebody, if one person can just say,
what
"Hey,
type
dog,
of page this is? Can I show you something? What type of page this is?
Go ahead, bro.
What do you mean?
go."
It's faith. This is my page on Facebook. So it's a StreamYard, but it's
100% legal. I was just finna show you something. If I show you
oh no, you can. That's fine. That's totally
If
fine.
it'll come
I was
up,
trying to show you something. I was just finna.
Yeah, that's fine. If we can see it, it's got dark in your
yeah,
background.
you dark in the background. What I was saying is, you 4 deep.
Y'all see me?
Why? What? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I switch the camera on.
We see you. You trying to flip it around?
Yeah. Say, Miss, hey, you know this light. You know one thing, that's a K, but that's light though.
Right.
You know they ran with 100. They ran with 100 shots, 50,
Right.
75s up on the guns. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's
Right.
no way possible. If you on defense, no way. I don't be on nothing. I ride around. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't legal. Smoke my little weed. Do what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the midst of driving trucks right now, so I feel like I deserve to be able to enjoy myself now. You know, I done came
I
from
understand.
doing some negative things. You smell what I'm saying? To me progressively doing this on my own, saying I'm finna just sit down because I got something I'm trying to show my sons when they get older. You know what I'm saying? These trucks they might want to do this when they get older. But make a long story short, like I was telling him last time, like, boom, these little guys, a lot of these little guys out here look up to me, right? So if they see me riding with my guns or whatever, every time they come up to my truck or my car, they, ooh, you know what I'm saying? You know how it be. You got that. It don't even be like that to flash and nothing like. But
Right.
if they in a group, like we were talking about earlier, if 10 guys walking in a group, these little guys walking in a group, how many you think got a gun? I said like 7 or 8. You understand? Boom.
Yeah.
I see these little guys, they walk around the hood. You ain't like I be trying to explain to them. You walking around the hood with a chopper in your pants. If somebody is coming to you to do something, you ain't gonna be able to pull it up.
No, you're not.
You
No,
ain't
you're
gonna
not.
be able
Right.
to
We
pull it
said
up.
that
So
yesterday.
Look,
they
bro, listen. We
go
were
back,
out.
they go back to being slow to the knowledge of a gun, not
Right,
understanding what you got. Certain guns for certain situations. You know what I'm saying?
right,
A chopper can't save you every time. A chopper really. I was in the car with my people like a chopper. Everybody had a chopper. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like that can't save you. That can't save you. It ain't about no choppers and Glocks and all. It's about whoever you catch that man slipping at that time. But it shouldn't be like that. But that's how these little guys thinking. I'm just
I
rapping to you.
understand.
I'm just rapping to you, just getting you some jewels,
I
like how these
understand,
little
bro.
guys
You
think.
know I
You
know.
feel me? Like,
You know
yeah,
I
so like he was telling me y'all passing out the cars and everybody y'all seeing had Drakes and all this. That's how they ride. And a lot of them ain't riding on no hard going for tough gas stuff. It's just they know they have to ride with these guns. Everybody
right.
they age riding with these guns, walking with these guns. The slightest argument is gonna be a gunfight. You smell what I'm
But
saying? The
Jake,
slightest argument.
but
Like
you
you
know,
were saying situation. Like you were just saying the little situation, like putting yourself in a situation like, boom. I really don't go too many places like without my people or whatever. Or
right,
whatever. Like, okay, I'm from out west, but I was out north at a little spot or whatever. You know, alcohol involved, so you know how folks be. So what I'm saying? So bam, like I had to just catch myself because I caught myself like really getting mad and you see what I'm saying? Like, but boom, like I know one thing. I'm out of jurisdiction. I'm by myself. I got some females with me. Now I'm by
right,
myself now. It'll easily go wrong for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that
right,
situation is me growing. Like, I can say 5. It ain't got to be that long. 3-4 months ago, I would have went up. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I would went up. You feel what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't have
right,
cared where we nothing. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like I go to war with a million people, one person that
Right.
just
right,
and it's a lot of people think like that. It's
right.
a lot of people think like that. Like, and they, you gotta be at peace with yourself though. Like, certain stuff that used
I
to
was
make me
just gonna
feel.
say that. I was gonna
Yeah.
say that,
Right.
man. If you get to the place, if you get to a
Where
place
you
of peace,
paranoid everywhere you go, you need to change
Yeah.
something. Like you said, get right
right,
with God or something. You got to change something
right,
everywhere you go.
right, right,
Like I don't need no gun when I have my honestly. It's when I'm riding late night, like late night or you know what I'm saying. I got gear on. You know what I'm saying. You know how these little
right,
guys is. You know what I'm saying. Like so,
right.
it's certain things like I just know how to prepare myself for. You see what I'm saying? But
So,
like
so excuse me, Jacob, Mr.
I'm
Robert. I
here.
know we getting close on time, but listen, this is really good conversation. But what we want, Jacob, Mr. Robert, Mr. Claude. I'm an ex-retired police officer. Jacob, you in the streets. Robert, you been in the streets.
I ain't in the street.
I
Don't
mean,
say
I
that.
mean, you used to be in the streets.
I
What
mean,
what what I'm saying is, as real men, and we talk about what a man's supposed to be. Us as individual, the real man society. I mean, the better men society.
right.
The COJ. What we need to get some answers to changing the narrative on Jacob end. Is it possible? What can we do as real men? To help the situation out there on the street to get to some of these young guys. You said, Jacob,
Get
you said
active
some of the
with them.
young guys
Get out there and get
look up to
active
you.
with them.
Okay. Oh, that's a start. You hear that, Robert? And
Yeah,
y'all been doing that. But these people, just like Jacob, they got some real knowledge. They have real knowledge. And we
yeah.
need to get to these and find out. That's where our answers is right there. That's where
The
our
thing
solution.
about it is, the thing about it is, Mr. Ernest, we have to find guys that can bridge the gap. When I say
Right.
we looking at 3 generations, kind of like 3 generations on this phone right now.
Right. Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You know, and that's what we do in the Better Men Society, man. We bridge the gap. And the generation we trying to reach is a generation under Jake. You
I
understand
didn't hear you.
what
I'm
I'm saying?
sorry. Can you run it back by me? I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
I was just saying, you know, it's 3 different generations on this line right now. Their
Right.
generation, my generation, and your generation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we all trying to reach the generation under your generation. The young guys. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? The guys under you is the guys that's really that need reaching. You know, because we can tell that you got wisdom. You know what I'm saying? You've been around some brothers that have raised
Oh
you.
yeah, I kick it with the older guys, man. You know.
And y'all remember what I told y'all last night? That's what I did.
Right.
That's what I did.
Right.
And that's
They didn't leave me
Right.
astray though. They ain't leave me astray. My guys ain't my older guys. That's why I said I got this is one of my big homies just left. My big cousin, you feel me?
right.
They didn't leave me astray. You know, when the guys was out there doing the breaking in the house and all that, my people, I ain't gonna say they were showing me the best way, but they were showing me
Right.
other ways I could get some money other than going to take somebody else's stuff. You feel me?
I
So
understand.
like,
Right.
you know,
Right.
I respect that more than I respect somebody saying, "Oh yeah," because there's a lot of them that they people them showing they daddy. Like I'm gonna be real, but I ain't trying to talk that bad about no other hood, but like our South, they known for stealing, breaking in houses. Like, we call them the Southside TV stealers. Like they have to have gotten it from somebody. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Because like
Right.
you got it, you it's a repeated pattern. You feel what I'm saying? Like
Right.
so, you know, you see, like I said, you see what you see. You do what you see. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Not what you
And,
told.
and,
You know?
and I was telling them in the Better Men Society, bro, we say to be a man, you got to see a man.
Yeah, for sure that.
For sure.
For sure that.
Yeah. Bottom line, to be a man, I mean, being a man is that's a map you don't wake up with, and you know how to get to that place. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be guided to that place, being a man.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you're gonna be lost if you don't got that map.
But
And
you
a
know
older
what? You know
person
why
gotta
these
do
little
it too.
guys really rock out with me like they do? Because there's a lot of guys out here that, you know what I'm saying, that's getting money, that's doing what they doing, that they could, you know, I'm righteous, bro. Like I wouldn't let them do nothing that I wouldn't do. Like even if
Right,
it's right there, like I wouldn't let them do nothing I wouldn't do. You see what I'm saying?
right.
'Cause they be hot headed. They get into it a lot over. I don't even see if it ain't about no money. I don't see what these guys be beefing about. But like they be into about some crazy stuff. So like.
Yeah,
Boom, like I be
Wow.
having to try to coach them through like, man, I ain't even worth all that. Like, so you would rather go do this or do that and get 15, 20 years, woo woo woo. And you think you flash about this now cause such and such a anything or a girl or something like that. Man, come on, man, you go lay down, man. These females not go wait on you, man. So
Jake, let me tell you what I tell them, bro. When I'm doing my motivational speaking and I'm in front of those young guys, I tell them about time. You know, I try to introduce them to some thoughts about time. When I say that, I mean it takes 4 seconds to up your strap and shoot somebody. 4 seconds, but it
change your
takes
whole
Right.
life, throw your whole life away.
yeah, and it takes 4 seconds. You can get you 20 years. You can trade 4 seconds for 20 years,
And how many seconds is that?
man.
That's a lot of seconds.
Yeah, yeah. 4 seconds for 20 years, man.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah. You know, and
So-
and just I tell them like this here, something that they can relate to too. Like, say if you do live without getting shot, without going to jail, without doing none of that, you maybe live to 70. You know, if you lucky, 70 years if God bless you. That's only 70 summers. That's only 70 summers. If you 15, how many summers you got left? You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, you got 55 summers left. And then if you go to jail for 20 years, you only got 35 summers left. You know, a guy need to consider their summers, man.
So it's about time for us to close out, but I want to close out with this. This was great, very informative. But the flip side of this is all this talking we're doing now and all these stories we're telling. Can we flip it and become creative and inventive and
Like I s-
do whether through research or whatever and say, okay, this is what we need to do to help these kids. Not just say talk to them, not just say let them go play
Honestly,
ball.
if everybody came
but
on board, we definitely got the manpower. And I ain't trying to cut
Right.
you off. We definitely got the manpower. We got the respect level. But you got some
Right.
great guys that's on board with you. You feel me? So like I said, it's about the actions. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
about the actions. Like you know,
Right.
it's
So
about
next
the
week,
it's about the motion.
we'll talk
you know what I'm
about that, and hopefully we'll have some people because it's 9 people on now, but by the end of next week, we'll have a couple hundred maybe have viewed this. So there's going to be people that hear you, right?
Man, we saw the connection tonight.
But
We saw the connection.
we have to, huh?
Well, we saw the connection tonight of 3 different generations, man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
We've got to go past this point because people are waiting on us.
Yeah.
People are waiting on us,
Right.
and they're waiting on us to figure out what to do, and then damn it, do it. Cause it's Jacob's
It's
kids
getting
gonna
worse,
grow.
but
It's getting worse. It is getting worse. It is getting worse. And if we sit here and watch it be worse, then I have this thing I always say. If you didn't know cursing was bad, this is what I believe. If you never knew cursing was bad and you cursed, I don't think God holds it against you for cursing. But once you learn that cursing is bad, and that's just cursing, right? So if you didn't know the streets of Jackson were bad, and now we got 2 people on here telling you, and now you know. And then God said, well, what'd you do? You saw those guys, you heard those guys telling you, you watched that show, and what did you do? You turn on the news and you watch the news. But what did you do? I went to work. But what did you do? Because I didn't put you there to go to work. I didn't put you there to have a big house. I didn't put you there to put your kids through college. There's people that need help and assistance. And
Tom, it's a lot of people that have got money for supposedly helping and supposedly trying to start something and yada yada, and they go left with the money.
Right.
we all know that.
We know that.
And we
That's
can
true.
sit here all day, Jacob and Robert. We can talk about every dirty preacher. I can talk about every dirty cop.
It don't
We can
matter.
talk-
We got to talk
right.
about what matter on
Exactly.
hand.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what's going on.
Exactly. So
And the most important asset that we have, and the most valuable commodities we have, is men like you, Jake. You
Yep.
understand what I'm saying? Like you were saying, they
Yep.
look up to you. Like you may honor our generation, my generation, but those young guys look up to you, bro. And you
Yep.
are a strongest weapon against change.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be
And I
praying.
ain't gonna. I'm not. And I said this last time too. And I promise I ain't the modern citizen. I promise, because I got so many flaws.
Little bro, listen. You talking to me now.
Yeah.
Like you ain't by yourself. When I say this, you're not by yourself, because in the Better Men Society, I started the Better Men Society because we are a modest group of men. You know what I'm saying? And our only goal is to be better today than we was yesterday.
Right.
And feel like you by yourself, bro, because I'm at home and this I'm at home.
Exactly.
You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? I'm at home, and I'm a minister of the gospel, and I still have to, be
Protected, safe,
still have to worry about my house. You understand what I'm saying?
cautious, all that.
Yeah. So one thing about it, you are the man of God. You right where you supposed to be in God, man. You showing wisdom, and even though I remember when I first started the Better Men Society, bro, I was still, you already know me, bro. I had one foot in and one foot out. I was feeding the homeless and paying bills for mothers on one side, but I was still getting down on the other side. God had to move me to the point that I am now. And that happened in a process. It's not going to happen overnight.
But you gotta thank God. Hey, you gotta thank God you did it before it was too late, though, you heard?
Right. And the thing about it is, bro, everybody on this panel, bro, we honor you, little bro. We honor you, little bro. You keep moving to the positive. You hear me? We ain't trying to say you
Yeah.
perfect.
yes.
Yeah, you just keep moving toward the positive, man, and we gonna be praying for you.
For sure that, bro. I appreciate it.
All right.
And we gonna link up face to face, bro.
For sure that, man. You gonna
I'm
remember?
gonna share y'all numbers. I'm gonna send y'all numbers to each other so y'all can have y'all offline
Okay.
talk. As soon as we get off,
Okay.
I'll send it to each other.
All right, bless.
Okay, so we got our assignments, right? Jacob, I don't have any problem. I did this. I've asked the kids, what do you want? Because what they want ain't what I want. I want a nice football field, right? I want a nice weight room. But again, we have to look past us as adults. Have to stop looking. We have to start looking past us and communicate and reach out. Say again.
You gotta stop looking for self and start looking toward the future.
Exactly. Because y'all are us. You all are us. You
Right.
all are us. You know, my children are me.
Right.
So, look, we really appreciate this.
Yes,
When you
it's
go
good.
back and play it, people say I always make these crazy faces. When I'm making these faces, I'm just really interested in what you're saying. I was just quiet. So
Yeah,
I think I just pray that you guys have a really good day. Rest of the night.
man.
Be
Listen,
safe till next week. We
I'm
see
just
you again.
impressed. I'm impressed by the level of composure and the level of wisdom that Jake showed, man. You know,
Yeah.
and it gives me faith about what's possible. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know,
Me
we
too.
not out here for nothing. We not out here for nothing. It's a million more Jakes out there.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah,
them. We need them.
yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
We just gotta let them know that we interested about reaching out to them and hearing what they got to say.
We can't leave them by the wayside. We can't do it.
Right,
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
right,
I cannot leave them by the wayside. I don't
right,
know why. You know, sometimes I wish I could just leave stuff alone. I swear to God, sometimes I just wish I could just leave stuff alone and go about
Right.
my merry way. But that's not how I'm made up, and I don't know why. You know, some people chase money, some people chase fame and notoriety and things of that nature. And I'm glad that I have met you all. I've been knowing Jake for a while, but I'm glad I met you. And it's by chance, you know, nothing is an accident.
right,
Both of you all are here on at the same time,
Right.
right,
right? And so that just leads to, you know, one link in one chain leads to another link in another
right.
chain, to make sure that chain is good and strong before we
Man, God
pull
is so
anything.
It's on
Yeah.
the ticket. It's on the
And see,
ticket.
another thing we need to tell young men that we not trying, like Jake was saying earlier, we not trying to say you can never have a gun. You can never protect yourself. We just have to
Right.
do it according to the law. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Be
We have to do
responsible.
it
Right.
according to the law. When you get 21, you able to have a gun.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, you able to
That's
have a
right.
gun at 21.
My
Carry,
my
you know,
dad said one
protect
blood,
My
yourself.
and
real
a
question,
doctor
the real question I be having with the
over
guys
there
is,
on
why would you mess up your record and get a
Robinson
convicted felon,
Road.
a concealed carry, or possession of a stolen firearm charge, and
Hmm.
become a felon where you
Right,
can't get a gun when you turn
right,
21?
Right.
right,
That
Right.
don't make sense to
Then you
me.
can't protect yourself.
right.
Yeah.
That don't make sense to me. I ain't never got that part.
So if we just educate them, if we just tell them, just be patient. You know, we have to do everything in moderation. You know what I'm saying? Be patient. Let's focus on your education first. Let's focus on, you know, how you produce it in society first. You know, let's get you in a place where you don't need no gun. And then when it's time to have one, man, you can have one.
They done
You
lost
know?
focus of goals, man. I said that too last time.
Yeah.
Remember
Right.
coming up, man, how many times people used to ask you what you want to be when you grow up? Them questions not asked no more.
Right,
Y'all was talking about the church.
Right.
right.
My grandma them made us go to church. Some
Man, we
days it
had
was
to
all
go.
right, but some days
We had to go.
she made us go to church. They not doing that no more.
But every time I turn, you know, especially since this COVID thing, everybody got something to say about the church, bro. Everybody got some, boy. I never liked the church.
They weren't going before COVID. They weren't going before COVID.
So what?
If they don't want to say somebody, they weren't going before COVID.
Yeah,
Right.
That's all it is. That's plain and
Right.
simple.
Well, what we want to do is give options, give lifestyle options.
right.
I said this when Mr. Close was saying like last time with the photography. I got in touch with my homegirl, like I was telling you. Shot
Right.
Shay, you feel me? She shoot a lot of people videos around here. You feel what I'm saying? Do a lot of photography for a lot of people.
What'd she say?
Like I was telling her, like she could start a class. Like if we could get a class going and get somebody to sponsor some of these cameras or something like
Right.
that. Not just her. You know, something like that in those type of fields. You know what I mean? Something like that that's gonna have
Listen.
that'll have these guys something to do
Call-
outside of being in
call
the
me,
streets
Jay.
all day.
Call me. What we finna do next Saturday is on Northside Drive. It's my partner. His name is Herman Davis. He down there right behind Powell School. He paint cars.
Okay.
And I'm taking 15 young men. It's sponsored by, you know, a collective of individuals like Asiatic Black, Big Mama Bell Bonding, Big Mama Bell Bonding. All of us, we are getting together. We hosting a class for these young men, 13 to 18. This is gonna be next Saturday. And Herman
I
gonna
definitely tune in with you. I definitely lock in with you on this.
yeah, Herman gonna teach these young men. It's gonna be about 15 to 20 young men. Herman gonna teach them how to paint cars. He gonna teach them how to change tires. He gonna teach them, stuff around the mechanic shop. And what you talking about is just another extension of what we already gonna
Right.
be doing. So let's get together and we'll get those cameras and we'll let her teach these same young men to do the same thing.
Exactly.
Right.
Respect,
right,
bro.
Right.
And just like that.
Just like that.
And I want to say one
Okay,
more thing.
guys. I know we have people telling us your hour is up, but we can talk for 20 hours if we want to.
Hey, when you talk about some real stuff, it ain't no time limit.
It ain't no time,
Yeah.
is it, bro? It ain't no time.
No.
Right.
So, again, please spread the word that we need.
Mr. Clark,
Go ahead,
let me
bro.
say one more thing. I swear I'm gonna be quiet after this. Like I
Go ahead.
grew up in the church and I'm a drummer. I'm a drummer by nature. I grew up in the church playing drums. I know 100,000 drummers, and nobody has never shot anybody. None of them drummers have never shot anybody. I know 1,000 guitar players. None of them have ever shot anybody. I know 100 piano players. Nobody have ever shot anybody. And that's because if you got drumsticks in your hand, ain't no room for a gun.
Ain't no room for a gun.
If you got a
If
guitar,
you got a camera in your hand,
But
you
from
can't
what
put
I
a
was
gun in
taught,
your
though,
hand.
do
You got a
understand
camera.
that all the real killers,
The
though,
camera gonna make
they
you
don't-
money.
It don't be killing like this. It's not, murder is a form of discipline and structure. When stuff not going right, like that's how
right?
like you know what I'm saying. Like it don't pose to be like this, man.
But my point to him was, if you already got an instrument in your hand,
Some going for sure. You don't have a time. I say that about smoking.
right,
When I'm really doing something busy and handling my business, I don't smoke weed. I don't have
Right.
time. I
right,
don't have time to.
right.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
back on y'all, Mr. Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I'm from the country. I wasn't raised up in Jackson. So
Okay.
all this was new to me when I started being a police officer. So I fell right into it. I didn't see none of the stuff that I didn't know. But now I think of country life. I got a farm, I got a ranch. I want to introduce kids to another lifestyle. Ranching. Oh, they hadn't seen horses, they hadn't seen
He's doing
cows.
watermelon.
And by
They-
you saying
I
that,
raised
you know how many
watermelons.
You know how many people? You know how many of these little guys that I take out to my grandma land out in Terry and go take them fishing? Like you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought they'd be scared to touch the fish. Just little normal stuff. They really enjoyed it.
That's a
Man.
whole nother
Fishing be
lifestyle
boring to
with
me.
nature.
I just
Get
go to clear my head sometimes. But they,
Yes.
they actually hit me up like, yeah, take me fishing. They like every time I take somebody new, somebody else in my DM, man, take me next time. Take me next time. You know what I'm saying?
I think
it's just
the
vibe of getting
country
out the
life,
city.
the country life will mold men's. I guarantee you that. And just to connect with nature, you get connected with yourself. So we got some plans. We got some big plans.
Oh yeah.
An alternative. Yes.
So we've got country, we've got activities already, we've got camera, right? And so this is just within the course of 5 minutes. 5 minutes. But the key is making it last.
keeping it
Going.
Keeping it going.
Not burning the people out that are doing it. Making
Right.
sure that they are taken care of. So that's the strategic part of it. So
Right.
we have to get all that taking place. We have to get all that set before we even start this, so we won't stop, right?
Right.
And I told you my story when Ernest and I were the presidents of the police union, and we were going to battlefield. We cooked hot dogs and we had a little DJ, and now we bought lights from Home Depot because we had midnight basketball. And the one Sunday we missed was the one Sunday a guy got killed.
Right.
And when we came back that next Sunday, his friend came over to me and said, "Sir, I truly believe that if you all would have been here last week, my friend would still be alive to this day."
And I believe it.
And that was $1 pack of hot dogs. That was chips
Yeah.
and juice. It was girls and guys. We playing
Man,
music.
it was
It just gave them
positive
something to
energy.
do.
It was positive energy. Exactly
It
what I
was
was talking
positive
about.
energy.
Right.
You
All right, fellas.
Y'all saw what happened when we go to those places. They be packed. And as soon as we put that positive energy out there, it gets
They
scary.
leave. They
Yeah.
leave.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're respectful though. They're respectful. And when you have somebody from another city that says, "I need you all to come to my city, and I need a shirt, and I need some more cards," right? That's love. When you all prayed for the lady whose father had just died that day,
Right,
you know,
right,
she was
right.
angry when she walked in, but
Right.
then when she walked, she wouldn't even talk to us. And then when she
Sure would.
walked out, you all walked over there and got up around her and prayed for her.
Right.
And that's the kind of stuff that people see and people remember. But it has to be a constant. It has to be systemic. And it has to be like a coronavirus. We
Right.
should be looking out for love. When you say, you know, I wasn't saying I love you, bro. Y'all was saying I love you. So I started saying I love you. And I just said that because
Yeah.
I heard you say it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's contagious.
So
Love-
all
love
of that is contagious.
Like Jake was just saying, you like he was saying, we gotta tell them something that they don't normally hear. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
don't nobody in their life tell them. A lot of young men don't nobody in their life tell them, bro, I love you, bro,
Yeah.
or God love you.
Right, exactly.
Either one.
I just told you got some grown hurt men.
Grown
So
hurt,
do.
and hurt people
So
hurt
do,
people.
bro. So
Hurt
do,
people
bro.
hurt
And
people.
hurt people. That's
So do,
good.
bro.
Hurt people. Hurt
All right, man. The hour
Hey,
is
I
Oh,
on.
enjoyed
you better,
y'all.
I'm about to get started
Enjoyed y'all,
again.
man.
So
Man, enjoy you, little bro. You know, we gonna link up, bro. As soon as I get your number, I'm gonna hit you up.
All right, bet. I'm finna
I
send
appreciate
He got
you
my
all,
number. He
man.
got my number. Just send it to him, Mr. Glow.
Okay.
Oh no,
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure y'all link up for sure.
All right,
but
man.
I want to
Thank
hear
y'all.
I want to hear the backstory behind it that y'all can't talk about on online.
Most
We have a task. We have some people that are gonna watch. And again, remember now, just because I truly believe this. Once you find out and you know that there are people out there that are hurting, and you have the wherewithal and the means to assist, and you don't, your
got to. Right.
your God's gonna hold it against you now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And this is not, we don't get paid for this. You guys spend a better part of an hour of your life doing this. When we going out passing out stuff and talking to folks, when you all doing what
For
you
free.
do, Jacob, when you doing this, we don't get paid.
No, we don't get
You
paid
know.
for this.
You know. So again, we need some more folks to saddle up and ride out with us, and make sure that you link up with us. I'm easy to find. I know a lot of us are very easy to find. Robert, you have, go ahead and give your number, Robert,
Man,
for the Better Men Society
601
Instagram.
503-6168. I am the founder of the Better Men Society. If you have young men that need mentoring, if you have some adult male 18 to dirt that wants to get involved in the Better Men Society, call me. My number is 601-503-6168. We need all the positive men we can get our hands on, man, to fight this fight. You
And
know,
on Instagram, what's your Instagram handle?
my Instagram is the Better Men Society. You Google the Better Men Society, type it in, you know,
Cool.
bettermen.society@gmail.com. That's my email address, man. Just type in the Better Men Society, man. You're gonna see us.
All right.
I just texted you. You should have got my number.
Okay. I'm looking right now.
And lastly, the two young men that were killed at in front of the club on Bailey Avenue. One of those victims, his friend, makes T-shirts, and they did a story on WJTV, I think it was, or APT, where this young man made some T-shirt. He got a nonprofit in his friend's name.
Man, I knew their mothers and fathers.
And made some T-shirts, and I reached out to him, and so he wants to teach kids how to do graphic design.
Right. That's another thing.
Yeah. So we're reaching out, and we're gonna link up to people, and we just need more people who can be and to assist us as well. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank everybody for watching.
And God bless, and we love y'all.
All right. Love y'all.
God
too,
bless. Thanks for watching
All right.
The Thin Blue Line. I'm Juan Chloe. This is Ernest Perry. We're not fine. Thank you.